I think I want to start this by asserting that spirit cooking is not a thing. Now, anybody who was following the election... Oh, that's not good. Anyone who was following the election of Hillary Clinton towards the very end of the run got distracted by Alex Jones's people, particularly Paul Joseph Watson, finding within WikiLeaks some weird emails about John Podesta going to an art exhibit about slavery and bondage and ritual, and part of the exhibit was something called spirit cooking, which was like performance art, and these morons decided that they were going to run with... You know what's fascinating to me about the people that got Trump elected? From the very root, from the ground level, he's not just a troll who got elected president. He's like a king troll, and everybody underneath him. I don't think Alex Jones is sincere. I don't think the people in his machine are sincere. For them to be sincere, they would have to be profoundly stupid or incredibly paranoid. So I'm literally going to give Alex Jones more credit than he deserves by saying he's a con man. Now, you have to be real human garbage for a person to have to call you a con man in order to give you some kind of deference. I had to upgrade you from moron to con man. You have officially failed as a whatever the hell you are. Journalist? Is that the premise of Alex Jones? So John Podesta, I feel like people get mad at Democrats for the wrong reasons. There's a lot of reasons to be pissed off about John Podesta being part of the Clinton campaign. There's a lot of reasons why John Podesta should never, ever, and any of his acolytes should ever get access to power through the Democratic Party or in Washington, D.C. ever again. John Podesta, along with his brother Tony, run a lobbying firm in Washington, D.C. They have worked for the who's who of corporate bad actors. BP, Walmart, Lockheed Martin, everybody from that. Look, I voted for Hillary Clinton. I'm going to use that as a disclaimer. But just because I voted for her and supported her does not mean that I am not going to discuss things that I disagree with her on or things that I did not approve of. I'm not endorsing a lesser evil narrative. I don't believe in the concept of evil. It's profoundly childish and reductive to use even the word evil when you're talking politics. I don't think Donald Trump is evil. That's too simplistic. I think he's sinister. I think he's venal. I think he's incompetent. I think a lot of bad things about Donald Trump, but evil is an easy way to let someone off the hook, because by making them superhuman in their malignancy, you don't disagree with them for the right reason. There's a right reason to disagree with Hillary Clinton. There's a right reason to disagree, with Donald Trump, and there are substantial reasons to be outraged about the involvement of John Podesta in that campaign. And it is not about voodoo. It is about the danger of... I'm not going to use buzzwords like insider, but I'm going to use specific terms. A lobbyist is not an inherently corrupt position. There are lobbyists who lobby for good and substantial and important things, and the Podesta group does not lobby for any of those things. That's all you need to know. Rachel Maddow proposed on her program the other day that one of Podesta's lobbyists is very disappointing. Look, the fact that Rachel Maddow used her platform to float a John Podesta lobbyist by the name of Jamie Harris as the new head of the DNC leading up to the midterm elections in 2018, to me is very, very, very troubling. Rachel Maddow's supposed to be a trusted news source. She's supposed to be, America's final news person. She's supposed to be an inheritor to Dan Rather and Bill Moyers and real legitimate journalists. And a really legitimate journalist does not bring on a legitimate journalist or commentator, right? If you want to shift Rachel Maddow into the commentator category, I'm not going to argue with you. But what I am going to say is, if she's a left-wing commentator, if she's a purportedly liberal, progressive commentator, her advocating, I'll give Rachel Maddow credit for at least disclosing that the guy was a lobbyist, but I will take that credit back, because when he did disclose he was a lobbyist, she then prompted him to retract. Not retract, but qualify his position as a lobbyist, a professional influence peddler in Washington. That's the kind of lobbying that the Podesta Group does. We don't need, at this time in the history of the Democratic Party, to keep on giving bullets to the Republicans to run populist. Donald Trump ran populist and won. He's not going to govern in that fashion, but he ran that way, and I guarantee you, if we keep... Yesterday, he dismissed a bunch of lobbyists from his organization. Now that's not because there's not going to be any insiders in his organization. That's because they're not the insiders that he wants. So he's been cleansing his campaign of Chris Christie acolytes, who are mostly lobbyists, because of internal family politics. He's trying to upgrade his son, his son-in-law Jared Kushner, into more positions of influence, and Chris Christie prosecuted members of the Kushner family some time ago. But let's keep John Podesta in the lens. John Podesta, as a part of Clintonism, and this is not about vilifying Hillary Clinton, this is about observing facts. So Clintonism as a movement, Clintonism within the Democratic Party is kind of like Stalinism within the Communist Party. It's strangely antithetical to the premise of that party in the modern day. We're not talking about segregation era Democrats. We're talking about the post Lyndon Johnson Great Society Democrats. Clintonism is antithetical to the modern populist message of the Democratic Party. And Podesta and his acolytes being empowered into 2018 and 2020 is going to keep on digging a hole. Now, what's the problem with the Democrats digging a hole and losing constantly? Well, they're not going to vilify the Clintonites. They're going to blame progressivism. So, unfortunately, progressives get it on both ends. Our critics on the right chew us out, and the critics within the ostensibly liberal party enrich themselves at our expense, co-opt our revolutionary rhetoric, and then dismiss us for a seat at the trough, at the feeding trough of influence peddling. the only viable DNC chair is Congressman Keith Ellison. We need somebody from the Progressive Caucus. We need to reaffirm this is not about the base of the Democratic Party. This is about those voters who voted for Obama, President Obama in 2012 and then shifted to Trump in 2016. It was never my assumption that those people were bigots because obviously they voted for Barack Obama. Barack Obama ran populist against Mitt Romney. The end of Mitt Romney were those 47% comments that he made. Those people heard that message and they processed Barack Obama as the candidate for the people. The Clinton campaign failed to articulate that concept that a lot of the less politically informed voters evaluate first when they're actually voting for someone. Those people who voted for Obama and then Trump only recognized who was the establishment candidate and who was the populist candidate. To them, it's a basic corollary. It's a binary choice. So if appearances matter, which they do in politics, appearances matter. The optics, they call it. That's really all there is in a campaign. Even if you don't get your message out, optics matter. Another one of the names that's been floated for DNC chair recently is Howard Dean, and I see a bunch of liberal Democrats speaking in favor of Howard Dean. Howard Dean's a goddamn health industry lobbyist. Big pharma. Big medicine. The optics. Republicans have been beating Democrats, in the wake of this election. The press has been conjecturalizing why Democrats lost. Identity politics. Nope. No. Not identity politics in terms of a vote they can reclaim. The vote they can reclaim is the anti-establishment vote. That is a rotating vote. 2010 proved it, 2012 proved it, 2014 proved it, 2016 proved it, 2008 proved it. The anti-establishment vote is up for grabs. And stocking your political apparatus with a bunch of corrupt professional bribers is not going to put you in line for when that wheel comes back around. Get it together, Democrats. The game is real. The stakes are very, very, the stakes are very real. The possibility of Karl Rove's dream of a permanent Republican majority are this far. One piece of candy corn away from tragedy, Democrats. Stop fucking around. Okay. Breathe. He's not even in office yet. He's not even in office yet. Don't step on the banana peel.